Okay, now we're live. Okay, welcome everyone. Today we will have an interview with the ERC committee, and we have Konrad, Marcin, and Lukasz right now with us. And we would like to ask them questions about ERC 2022 and more on the history of the ERC and some events they might want to tell us some good memories from their history. So let's start with introducing yourself, and I'm gonna start with Konrad. Konrad, nice to meet you. Tell us who you are.
So hi, nice to meet you all. I'm Konrad. I'm a team coordinator at ERC since like 3 years. If you were at ERC 2018, then you may recognize me as I was like a volunteer then, which was like doing the team coordinating stuff at the team zone. And later, I was such good that Lukasz called me and asked if I want to join the team for next year. And since then, I'm here. I'm the first contact you'll meet when you want to join ERC.
Wonderful. And we can continue with, Ishiksu, you have said something?
Sorry. Also, we're interested in your personal backgrounds as well, if you would like to share with us.
It's like a really, really long story, and I'm not really sure, where to start. So,
Start from kindergarten, this is the good start.
It's a good start. So I don't even have time for that, So, well, let's just say that, I, as a volunteer, I'm working at various events for I think right now 13 or even 14 years. And I have many experiences like the biggest festival in Poland or maybe in Europe. So when I joined ERC, I had I knew what to do, and I really think I'm at the good place. And and right now I think this is all. Maybe later I'll have something to add, as honestly it's such a wide topic that yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. We can continue with Lukasz.
Okay, so making a long story, because it's a long story, short, my personal background is actually two, because the first one is history. I'm MA in history, but the history of space exploration. So as you can see, that was always space. I'm also a very long-time member of my society, because I started as an entrepreneur for Polish website in 90s. And then after many years, I also became a communication specialist. But by communication, I mean marketing communication specialist. And right now I run a PR agency and also a European Space Foundation. And I'm, for the ERC, I'm how to call me, because I have very different kind of roles during the past 2 days. But let's just talk it like originator of ERC and one of the people that is closely behind every edition. Yeah,
that's great. Marcin, we can continue with you.
All right. So my name is Marcin. Regarding my background, I have studied automatics and robotics. Currently, I work as a project manager at Sener, which is a company that is doing mechanisms for space applications, like deployment mechanism, hold down release mechanism, that kind of funny things which take a long time to develop. And at ERC, basically, since the last edition, I'm head of jury, mainly responsible for the on-site edition. I was working actually in ERC since a few years before, but I was just a standard normal jury. So starting from the last year, I'm responsible also for the rules and for every organizational aspect related to judges. Okay, I guess that's
Thank you.
enough.
We can continue with Simon then. Am I pronouncing it right? by the
Yeah,
way?
it's Szymon, yeah, or Simon. Yeah, it depends on how you like. All right, so how to begin? Yeah, I was the head of the first winning team in ERC back in. So Lukasz needs to tell me. It was like 2013 or
14.
yeah, 14. Yeah, and I was involved in Mars rovers like since 2012, I think, or yeah, I think 12. So long story here, and yeah, there was this gap in between, like getting a job, etc., after studies, and then after like since 2015, 16 or something like that. I'm not good in dates. We started the company and we are building Leo rovers for that is used in remote edition of ERC since like for 2 years already. That's the story here.
Wonderful. It's very nice to see you here. By the way, I am Bahadır. I have worked in ITU Rover team for 3 or 4 years, and I have been in ERC 2018. It was a very great competition. Thank you guys for having that competition. And I'm right now graduated and working in aerospace industry as a space engineer. So we have Işık. Işık, can you tell about yourself?
Sure. My name is Işık, and I was working in the Istanbul Technical University's Rover team as well in 2017 and 18. I'm a geological engineer, and now I'm doing my PhD in German Aerospace Center. And I was only in the part of preparing documents, part of European Rover challenge. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend, but I heard a lot, and it's glad to see you now.
Wonderful. Burak?
Hello, I am Burak Kalkaya. I am studying on Konya Technical University, and I am also a member of Red Giant Rover team. That's all. I was team leader in Red Giant Rover team, but I am just a team member now.
Thank you, Burak. Right now we have many questions about ERC, but I want to start earlier. I want to start with the Polish Space Agency, especially it was founded in 2014, I guess. But before that, it was the Polish Science of Academies were running the space errands, I would say. So can you tell us some history about Polish and like Polish government and the space agencies all around the world, how the history come up to the 2014 foundation of the Polish Space Agency? Who want to answer this?
I think Lukasz is the oldest one here.
Yeah, probably okay. Historian on board. So generally, the space sector in Poland, it's dating very long time ago, because during the communist times, we always have this institute, the Polish Academy of Science, and there was CBK, so it's space research center, and they were always working for instruments, for mechanism. So this is also the place where a lot of engineers, a lot of current directors, project managers came from. They originated in CBK. Before actually, because to make long story very short, actually, before we came to 2014, because we had Polish Space Agency, etc., there was also something that was called the Polish Space Office, close to the presidential office. It was some kind of space agency, because it was running satellite industry days, and there was some already movements to organize a Polish space sector into legislations, into working body. But between that, there was also a lot of discussion about European Space Agency. And I remember it very, very well, because before starting ERC, before everything started, we also, as NGOs, we also participated in very big event. It was like a pan-national, because there was a research made, and there was letters from all NGOs to the Polish government that we really need to gather forces and we need to join European Space Agency. And something like that happened, and the Polish government signed this, the first paper with European Space Agency. Of course, the road is like that. Then first you become, the allied country, and then you enter the European Space Agency. And thanks to this, we regarded a special program, as all new members are doing. It was called Polish Space Industry Scheme. So thanks to this, the Polish companies could rise, because they receive a special program only for Polish companies, only for Polish institutes that can work and develop actually the competences, the tools, the know-how. Also, after then we have this Polish Space Agency that was formed, because European Space Agency is a European space program. Of course, just for people that are watching us and don't know anything about ESA or know less, European Space Agency is not the same as European Union, okay? So not all the countries that are members of European Union can be members of European Space Agency, because this is like over-national agency happened in Europe. And to complicate more, right now in Europe, we have really a European Space Agency. It's called EUSPA. This is the European Union Agency for the Space Programs. And so we have two different space agencies in Europe, but totally with different competences right now. So coming back to Poland, the first thing was to form the Polish Space Agency, and then the Polish Space Agency started to work on the national strategy, because European Space Agency is for European space program, but if you are starting to be a developed country in space, you need also your own national space program, because sometimes this interest is different than the interest of other countries. And for example, Germany, they are the strong member in ESA, but they also have a DLR, right? And like the country like Spain or Italy or France with CINES. So this is the same story with Poland. And when Poland started to have Polish Space Agency, then they started to work on Polish space strategy. And when it was established, and I remember it very well, because the first draft of Polish space strategy was announced in 2016 on European Rover Challenge in 2016. So we have been selected as an event to announce the Polish space strategy. And now Poland is working on the execution document. It will be called the National Space Program. And this will be, interested especially for the players in Poland, because it contains, our own satellite, etc., because this is totally on Poland, right? Just to make long story short.
Wonderful. So it's very directly related, the European Space Agency and the ERC, I would say, from the establishment date to the announcements where it has been made. So how was the European Rover Challenge found? Does it have any interesting stories from back then?
Well, actually, it started longer than 2014 or 13, because Simon can also remember this, because before starting ERC, we in Poland, we were forming the first teams to participate in American competition, in University Rover Challenge, that is based in Utah desert. And I remember it because I was, I'm not an engineer. I was a person always running for marketing and, for the outreach. So we formed the first team that was going from Poland to URC. I remembered it very well because the first team that was going ever to URC, they lost a Rover. The Rover was lost actually by the airline, and it was a huge strategy because I was staying here. I was, watching media, talking to media. The team was already there, but the Rover was not. So actually, it was a very strange time, and the story was very personal to me because the day the Rover was found, because I made a lot of calls. The guys in the US being already there made a lot of calls. Finally, I called the spokesman of one of the airlines. I won't be speaking which one of that was then. And he told me, okay, we found it. And 10 minutes later, I got married. So actually, yeah, because I was standing in front of the church, actually. And it's the real one. So then there was, forming more teams to participate in URC, and then Polish teams started to win URC. Actually, we can say proudly they dominated University Rover Challenge, because there were years that Polish teams were winning year and year and year. And then we decided in Poland that we have to make another international competition, but this time it will be much more open to the public, because it's not only about you guys participating in this competition, but it's about that you as teams, when you are going there, you have actually two things to do. It's not about winning. It's about, first of all, you have to, of course, you have sponsors, and you have to show sponsors and to give them some kind of, sponsorships. So when there is no media in the desert, there is no public in the desert, how to do it? That's a question. That's a really question. And there is no internet over there, a stable one that you can make a transmission, right? So there was the first one. And the second one is that you are the best people to inspire the next generation that will come. You are really the best people to do it, because you have a great attitude to build these rovers, to participate, to sometimes spend nights. Some of your colleagues are going for a beer. You don't. You build rovers by night, right? You train very hard. And to show it to the public, we needed another event to open it and to do it together, with the scientific show, together with the conference. And then there what is. In 2013, we decided to create something new, totally new, that is not in the world. There is no, a benchmark for this. So ERC is like only of its kind. And then we decided to make an event that will be divided into 3 parts. So there will be a rover competition, there will be a scientific show, and there will be a conference. Why? Because this is also the very interesting place when you guys come as a teams, and you have opportunity, to shake hands with deputy administrator of NASA, or astronaut that is coming, right? So and the person who come, the VIPs, that the keynote speakers are for the teams actually. So because this is also a place when you are building your careers, you are making networking. So that was the idea behind ERC from the day one, and we knew already that it will be very hard to organize, that in Poland, organizing something like that and to invite people from around the world. But we decided to put this leverage very high, and we made it. So now, year by year, we are putting this leverage more, but this is something that my colleagues can talk about, because they are behind all this, they are masterminds about, the rules and this autonomous driving, etc.
I would like to make something clear. So are you a former member of a rover team? I got a little bit confused about how you involved all those rover missing things when the Polish team attending URC.
Well, I'm not, because the funny thing, and this is absolutely the most funny story, is that I have never been to Utah Desert. Because I was, from the day one, the spokesperson of the teams participating. Someone needs to be left behind. just you, Ishik, said before. So I was the most, not lucky guy to stay behind, to keep, contact with media here, to keep contact with people, asking what is happening over there. I was calling the teams in the middle of night, please pick up, because there is an interview. So I was also the person that was not maybe in all the teams, but I'm talking about the very beginnings. I think it was 2009. I think so. I was also helping them to go through the companies and to find some sponsorships. And it was very funny because in 2009 there was no merchant rovers in Poland like that. And I was going to the company, hello sir, and I have a great sponsorship opportunity because I'm fundraising money for the first Polish rover team, and we are building a Martian rover. And then I wish I had a camera to record the faces of these, people from the companies, because they were looking for the button, like call the security or the psychiatrist. I don't know, maybe both. So I was it was very hard job, but we gathered, some interesting companies to send finally this first rover. So I was never a part of any rover team. I was rather a person who helped, make a lot of outreach about it and to make a lot of buzz in Polish media about, hold the idea, because then there was 3 teams participating from Poland in the next edition. So we decided to make some colors of their shirts like the Martian flag. So, to differentiate them, but to show them on the one big press conference that 3 teams are going to represent Poland. So I was someone like behind the scenes, actually.
I see. I would like to ask the question to others as well, like Konrad, Marcin, and Simon. Have you had similar experiences in a rover team beforehand?
Okay, maybe I will start. I was never a member of any rover team. Honestly, when I was finishing at the university, that kind of there was not a lot of opportunities in Poland, at least at my university. I also spent my last year abroad in United Kingdom. And after that, I just directly went to work. The first experience that I had with space industry was actually when I got the YGT position. It's called Young Graduate Trainee in European Space Agency. This is when where I decided, okay, my life should be devoted to space. And since that moment, when I finished that traineeship, I started to work in Poland at Cener. So I'm just working in the space industry for many years, and it looked like a good standard step to do more for the society. So this is why I wanted to also be involved in some kind of associations, some kind of competitions. We first started by Polish Space Professionals Association, which I'm a chairman of the board currently. We have started to engage in many activities associated with developing of skills of Polish space professionals, of students, etc. And in the meantime, I also started to act as judge in the ERC. I think I was a judge in the last 4 editions, probably, maybe even 5. 4, I think. Yeah, and as I said before, actually, after many years of doing that, finally, I'm together with Szymon. We are the people who are creating the rules for you.
Wonderful.
Okay, so maybe I'll add something, as I will be quick. Yeah. You had a question for Marcin?
No. I was going to continue with you. Good luck.
So in reality, my first experience with Martian rovers was at ERC 2018, because like Lukasz, I studied history, but I wrote my paper about regional history. So in reality, I had nothing in common till 2018. So honestly, it's up to Szymon to say something more about that.
I see. We can continue with Szymon.
And so the funniest thing now is that it's the first time I actually heard the stories from you guys. I mean, from Konrad, Marcin, and Lukasz, because like I never knew like how did you personally get involved in the thing, and that's great. Even something new today. So in my case, as I already told, like I was the head of the first winning team, which is Project Scorpio from Wrocław University of Technology. Like before that, I was a member of the same team, but the ERC was not there. So we participated in ERC in Utah twice, I think. Yeah, twice. And then after this, after the first ERC, I actually I don't really so I didn't. So it was not that I finished the studies, but I just got into like automotive industry, etc., like to the real world, like not the space world, which is strange, but the real world where the real money is and what the real jobs are. Like that was something that was back then. Like the situation was that like you couldn't really get involved into anything spacey. Like anywhere in Poland, I think. Like maybe somewhere, but yeah, I didn't know that. And the funniest thing is that so I got involved in the automotive part. Then we started the company, and we realized that we can actually do the same stuff that we did as a teams, but for money, commercially. And not only for space, but for like different like variety of different applications. And that was the best thing here, that you could actually connect the space, like the space approach, the space, let's say, industry, to the real world, where you can actually use the rovers in the chicken sheds, use the rovers in pipeline inspections, etc. And that was, and I'm still seeing that. Like I would even say that I see it more now, that it's finally there. Like it's finally something is moving from the students' competitions to the commercial world, and then from the commercial world to the real applications. So I'm not sure what was the question now. Yeah, I was involved.
By the way, your team was very famous, like among us as well. When we started to build our first rubber, we were looking to the Scorpio's design because it was like the best of the time, I remember.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah. So I was then like my background is mechanical engineering, so the chassis of the rover and the look of the rover was something that was done mainly by me. That's why our product looks pretty much the same now. And so that's something fun as well, that I saw that in the following years more and more rovers looked pretty much like somewhat similar to the thing, and that was like there were some teams that tried to push like to told me that it was their idea, etc. But yeah, I knew that something moved.
Wonderful. I would like to tell more about this, like the ERC way of doing things, because I have been in like rover competitions 4 times, and one of them was ERC. And when I get to the ERC, it was very different because the teams were working in the same environment where the competition was going on, and there was press, there was food, and also like I remember I can talk and communicate with the other teams as well, so I can start bonding with them. And this is not something you can do with many rover competitions. So how this idea brought the teams today? Because when you started the ERC in 2014, it was not like now. So how is the growing rate? How are the numbers? So is this a different way of doing the competition, organizing the competition helped you to get a better success out of this?
So maybe I will start. Yeah, because the first one was quite a success. If you compare to what is right now, it was probably later one, because the teams that finally made it, because what you see during the eliminations, the qualifications, then announcement, it's not what you can see finally on site, because some of the teams drop out because they have logistic problems. So during the first ERC, there was 9 teams participating. We were really happy that they came, actually. And starting from there, the whole idea didn't change so far, because we want teams to talk, we want teams to meet. When we have a special guest, we always bring the person to the tents, to walk around, to high five. First edition was Robert Zubrin coming to ERC. The funny thing is that before coming to ERC, he was never on URC before on Utah Desert, so it was interesting. And he was very, he was very astonished from what he's seen with these teams. There was also Scott Hubbard, the previous chief of NASA Ames, then now retired professor of Stanford University. Simon probably and the Scorpio teams knows him very much, because he also invited them to come to Stanford. I remember very well the second edition, when we realized the dreams of many of us, including mine, to bring on site the Harrison Schmitt, the Apollo 17 astronaut, so one of the last men on the moon. And it was also a dream of mine, because as a historian, I wrote the whole piece of a part of my historical book about that. And then we brought him to the tents to speak with this people working with screwdrivers, not now, yeah, but this is the Apollo 17 person, the last man on the moon. Okay, sorry. So actually what was amazing to see is that, you have in one place totally different cultures, it's a full diversity in one place, absolutely full diversity. And we have amazing stories that some of the teams, came totally without any logistics made on site, because there was one team, they will, when they are watching, they will probably know that it's about them, but I will not say which country and which team. But they came on the first ERC calling me from the local McDonald's and say, "Hi, we are there, or Lukasz." So I said, "Okay, good. So go to the hotel or whatever." "Well, we don't have one." So it was like, what the heck? So we have one day. Then we had one day to find them a place to stay for a whole week, actually. Till this day, I'm wondering how they get a visa, actually, without not putting where they will be spending a night. So actually, they came here, they have all the Rover in their luggage. Actually, it was, totally, everything was in the luggage, actually. It was amazing, and they worked all the night to build it up. We helped them, and it was really good to see that they participated. And I remember they were third, actually. All right, I said, who are they? So actually, starting from day one, we decided that we are bringing public close to the tents, so they can see how they are working, so the teams can put roll-ups or something like that of their sponsors to show up, to make photos. And year by year, we wanted to do something more. I remember that when we organized the third edition, it was 2016. Then we decided to make something more, because there was a point that we needed, that something is missing. So we have this, competition. We had this nice, Rover competition going on, and that's nothing. People are going back to their countries, and that's it, right? So we decided we need to build something, like a community, start building a community. And there was an idea to organize on day 4 a workshop, a full day of workshops, actually. We were a little bit afraid that no one will come because, all you guys, when you participate in ERC competition, that is very demanding. You are not sleeping sometimes. You are getting some place in the hotels, but really you are sleeping in your boxes or tents or whatever you're doing during the night. And next day, we had a full auditorium of people. Absolutely, it was full of people. And then our judges were going on the stage and showing, for example, the documentaries, what didn't work, how to improve it, giving all the feedback they can give as the engineers, the space engineers, robotic engineers. There was also some kind of business workshops. I remember that Simon was in one of them, because I remember Simon telling you, like, go there, right? You have to. No, you have to, right? Start a company, go there. And we organized this. And, in the next years, we decided that we need actually to give this feedback to send people to this kind of webinars or feedback on live. Then from 2018, we decided that we also need a party, because I know it's not very meritocratic, but it's, to build a community, actually, right? And I remember when we organized this first party, it was madness. I cannot speak in details because, what's happening in ERC stays in ERC, as they say. But generally, it was a total madness over there. It was like whole night of amazing worldwide party. And I know that people were, talking during the next days to each other, because what is very important in space sector is that you need to find also how to work internationally. You need to work, together. I'm the engineer, I'm the scientist. We have to work together, because interdisciplinary is now the key for understanding. And engineers are speaking in different language than scientists. So actually, we need to mix these people. I want more. I want that this part of what we are doing there will really transfer in the worldwide community, that we build it, we meet much more often. Actually, this is one of the first meetings we have that it's not organized by us, it's organized by one of the teams. And it's amazing, because this is what we would like to do. So the teams will organize, we will go there. In 2019, I was invited by Colombia, and I met in Colombian teams over there, and I do some kind of road show over there. I talk to people, and it was amazing also to meet them on site, to see what are the problems, what I were working on, the challenges. And this is how we build this community. So it's not about only the competition. It's not only about rovers. It's about building the next generation of engineers and scientists, because the future is yours. I'm only, the guy who is organizing and communicating, and I hope that I will find my way in the space sector. But the future is in your hands, actually. So that's why we are doing this.
Wonderful answer.
I just recalled some stories.
Yeah.
Like during,
you can tell some stories. I would like to hear them.
So because like as you asked and mentioned about like being involved in different, like, two competitions and how different they are, like ERC and URC, like it's totally different, I would say. Like URC is great for the location, but ERC is super great for the communication, for the teams, etc. Right? Because you can actually talk to the teams. You are all in one place, etc. Right? And okay, the stories. So the first thing, like as Lukasz mentioned, we had there was Scott Hubbard and Harrison Schmidt, right? During, like, I'm not sure if it was one edition or two editions of them both, but anyway. So I talked to Mr. Hubbard and told him that, like, pretty much like being honest, 90% of the work with preparing the rovers is done on site, like during the last 2 days or something like that, right? Because that's how it works. You just don't sleep, you just solder anything in place and etc. And what he told me, like honestly, is that it looks the same in the real world. It was So it was actually like eye-opening that the things that happen in the student teams are not like cut off of the like real world. You are actually learning the things that will happen and happen all the times, but on one example of building the rover, right? Then after I joined the the judging team like 2 years ago, I realized that the judging team looks the same as the student teams participating. So we are trying to organize ourselves. We are not like full time in the competition. We are like from different backgrounds, doing that for our own like maybe not interest, but our own like everyone has their own way of doing things and their own how we are doing that and why, and that's when you are actually you can actually understand how the student teams work and how the judging team works and how to compare them to the real world. Yeah, so pretty much like the story is that, or maybe not the story. The thing is that you are actually learning the things that will happen in the real world, but they don't cost you anything, because like you are doing that for like the university money, for the EU money, or like anybody's money, right? But you're doing the same mistakes that you will do in the real world during your like work, like or even private life, managing the teams, etc. But you finally have an example to work on, and that's the biggest part of the competitions, I think, right? And in ERC, you can actually talk to each other about that. You can meet the teams and find out that the same things, the same mistakes happen in every of the with every of the teams. And yeah, that's the little story behind the things.
I guess there is something wrong with Bahadur's network. I hope he will come in a moment. Maybe we can talk about how your personal backgrounds affected your roles in ERC. Did you get benefits about any of your backgrounds during this organization? We can start with whoever wants it.
Well, I can try about that as well, because that's the second thing that was like eye-opening here is that you can't really assume that you will get any job you like after participating as the team, right? Because that's the first thing to tell, like honestly tell. You can use it for your benefit. You can learn on that, and but don't assume that like after being the first in ERC or like the first in URC, you'll get job and like SpaceX or like NASA and anywhere you like, right? The biggest part is that it benefits you in the main core of your understanding how the team works, in the main core of understanding how the project management, how the project development works. And that's something that I would call that is more about soft skills that will stay with you all your life after that. But yeah, for sure, it will help you climb the ladder of success as like much faster than anyone who just got there like to any job. I'm telling about any job who just got there with no previous experience in such competitions.
Thank you very much.
Okay, maybe I would add that, as Szymon mentioned, it's really important to work on soft skills, which you have the opportunity to do during the European Rover Challenge. Of course, you have also the opportunity to work on hard skills, so the pure engineering by designing the rover. And what we have noticed also in the recent years is that we would like to focus more on you, so on developing your skills. And this is why, for example, we have changed a little bit the presentation task. So you have also this opportunity to talk with a jury, to ask questions, to discuss about possible problems, etc. I have to say that it worked quite well. However, we hope for the next year that there will be more discussions, because anyway, some of the teams were not very much involved in discussion with us, but some of the teams used 100% of this time, which was also really good from our point of view. So not only beneficial for them, but also for us, because we could we could be introduced to their problems, to what they think, and this is the knowledge that we can use to improve in the further years the ERC.
Oh, and so I would cut here and underline one thing here as well. It's called deliberately challenge. It's a challenge. It's not a competition, and we deliberately use challenge as the wording here, or field trials in the rules. It's not a competition. It's not an exam. So you as teams can totally talk to us. You can discuss your ideas, your problems, your feedback, and we are open to do that, like to implement that in the next editions, or even in the like following in current edition or something like that. Just
sorry, I want to add a little bit. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, go. Okay, so I will just the thing is that don't assume that we are the teachers and you are the students. It's not the university, it's the challenge here. We are just here to coordinate the trial and then do the scoring, which is like the most, I would say is the most challenging and the most boring thing, like for me as the judge. Like the fun is, the best thing is actually seeing the teams compete there and seeing the teams like do their things that they learned, etc. And the scoring is just somewhere around that, because we need to score something, right? And so don't assume that we are the teachers. Just assume that we are the partners in crime here. So maybe just think about that, and think about the scoring as something that we need to do, because like otherwise you won't be able to be the first ones, right? Yeah. So sorry, Konrad. No, you.
Yeah, I just I wanted to add a little bit about growing, because I think each year we are growing as a team, because we as organizers we're also learning with each year even more, because the event organization is like a really dynamic work environment, and you can't really be prepared for everything. It's like each year will surprise us with something, with some, let's say, strange situation, and we just need to be ready, to challenge it, like Simon said. So you could say that we are also learning something each year, and we are growing even as a team. Like, for example, this year, Marcin is our new head of jury. Simon is with us for 2 years, and I think that all of us will agree that probably this year edition was our best in last year's.
That's good to hear, Konrad. So we hope for better for the next year.
If I can add to this, I think that guys before hammered to the point that we also are a team of ERC. Maybe some of us are unseen because working, behind, but we are also a team, hard working all the year, like you, reaching for funds, like you, fighting with other internal challenges, the human stories, human problems, bottlenecks. We also have this. And I remember in 2020, then the teamwork showed how it's very valuable to have a good team and brightest minds, because the world stopped. Actually, literally, the world stopped. And I could see that the other challenges, not only Rover one, but generally robotic competitions, they were actually suspending or the canceling one by one. And we've heard this all around the world. And then we decided, come on, we are making ERC, and we are always saying that we are teaching these young people how to solve complex problems. And this is complex problem, the COVID one. So the whole team like gathered and said, okay, we have to find a solution. And the solution was to give this introduce this remote formula, which stayed with us. So because we have two actually challenges right now, and you know what, this teaches us also that we can also be some kind of a reference to another people, because after organizing so many editions, so the eighth one, but I think I'm feeling like it will be like 20th, because we are working so hard year by year. We also already helped guys in India to form this Indian Rover Challenge. Now some people from Georgia came to us also to take from us some ideas. So, and we are working with some people to organize Africa Rover Challenge for the last year. But it's a huge continent, so it's very complicated to do it. So we are also learning how to to solve some kind of problems. And regarding what Simon said, I want to share this movie I have about 2019 edition, but I hope that it can be shared. Share a screen, right? Will
Exactly.
it be? There will be a video as well playing. People will hear it, right?
When you open it, I will see it. Then I will take it to the live stream
Okay.
whenever you want.
Okay. So. Okay, I have to. I have a Mac, so I have to give some kind of allowance. I can see.
I see.
Okay, let's.
The video presentations never work. Use PDF.
No, I want to share I want to share only the. Oh no, I cannot do it because I have to close the Firefox. So because I wanted to share.
I can see your screen now.
You can see my screen. Okay, can you see this? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Now there's a video playing. I'm opening it.
There is a sound.
Okay. I hope so, but I cannot hear myself.
Ah.
No, I don't hear.
Okay, we are hearing from your computer.
But there are subtitles you can see. So actually, this is what I wanted to show you, the beginning of this. Because what Artemis said is that this is the point. It's not about only going to this kind of challenge and finding a job. Of course, we have already success stories. Because if you go to Maria Antonieta Perino from Thales Alenia Space, one of our friends for the last couple of years, actually, and she said me a story this year that before ERC, that she was wandering on the corridors of Thales Alenia Space in Torino, and then some young people went to her and say, "Hi, "Hi, Maria." And it's strange because usually it's like "Hello, director" or "Mrs. Director," and there was direct "Hi, Maria." And what she find out, they were a former member of I think it was a Diana team. It was they were former members of Diana team, and they met actually in 2018 or 19 in ERC, and she came to them, she talked to them, and they were hired. So from Italy to Poland to find a job in Italy, and this is how the magic works, right? And I think that something you mentioned about making your careers. This is also our job to make it happen, because we want also to help you in this on this way. Right now, I hope that IAF, International Astronautical Federation, will help us on that, because we are the newest member. By the way, when we were accepted this year, I was sitting just next to the Turkish Space Agency. Was always accepted the members. We talked to each other during the whole ceremony, and I know that the space community is looking at our project very carefully, because this is a talent pool, actually, but to foster your talent, you are not just only going to ERC, winning this, and waiting. This is not how it works, right? It's a hard job, but when you are going to the company, when you are doing some other projects, and then you are showing in your resume that I was participating in Rover Challenge, and that's why we are bringing all these people always, as a keynote, as a special guest, then there is a chance of someone who's saying, "Hey, I know there, I was there actually, and I remember this event," right? So actually, then it's like a kind of icebreaker for you, and this is a good start. But of course, it's not about only a space career, because Simon is a great example of how to start a company that is totally on space, right? It's a robotic company, and we also have this kind of stories. People starting, edutech companies. We have also one kind of this kind of success story. So I think the Rover Challenge, the European Rover Challenge, first of all, is showing you that your problems are not only your problems; it's a worldwide problem. Then you can see how other people, other cultures found the solutions to this. Then you can, talk to the teams, because people are, some teams are talking to each other, borrowing things, right? Helping to each other. We also have this fair play announcement all the year. And this is about making friends, because, in space sector, you need one. Because this is a global sector, and in few years you will need some kind of connections, because you can go to Germany to make a PhD, for example, right? Or you can find out to work, for example, in ESA or whatever you want, actually. Because if you go through ESA, if you go through European Space Program, then you can go, I don't know, to Africa to build new solutions over there, or to some other emerging countries. We had a nice story, because there is a nice guy, guys probably remember that he was for a few years, he was our judge for communication, I mean Marcin, because I think 2018 he was the last of his participation as a judge. Now he works in a rocket lab in New Zealand, and he's helping them building this rockets, company, and because it's a kind of New Zealand spaces right now. So this is all about finding some connections that you can use, and what is more important is that if you are having ERC like you are doing the great job right now, to use it in your country, into your communities. And we will help you for this, for sure. Because this is how it works. It's a never-ending circle, right? You go, we go, you go, we go. And then the circle is making absolutely bigger.
Yeah, I would like to add something here. Like when I was in Ankara, the capital of Turkey, I was walking by the Polish embassy, and there was posters on the wall. And like half of these posters were about ERC. Like there were pictures from ERC. Maybe you don't know it. But when I see that, I was shocked. Like, okay, I have been there. Like I remember those moments. I remember our Rover was showing up one of the pictures. So when I see that, I was so glad that this area of space is a common ground that the countries express themselves. So what you're doing is very important. That's what I wanted to say.
So our embassy put some pictures of ERC outside.
Exactly.
Thank you,
Like,
because
there
we
was
didn't
10 pictures.
we didn't know about.
3 or 4
Okay.
of them were from ERC.
Wow, so that's amazing. Well, we work with Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but we didn't know how far it goes sometimes. So yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
So
Turkey
that's
surprised
why
us
there is,
again.
yeah, so
Do you have
that's
any
why
tips on that?
there are more and more Turkish teams participating, maybe because
Yeah,
of the
they-
poster.
Yeah, also you're very close, and this is one of the more important figures as well, because like for the Turkish teams, like there was not many beforehand. I remember like when we were founding our team, there was only one team from Turkey that went to ERC, and then we have been to URC, and then the next years I remember there's like 5 teams, 7, 8, 10, right now about 10, I guess. So we are very into ERC since it's very close, and we like Polish people seems closer to us. Then when we go to US, it's very far, and logistics can be a little bit struggle. But to ERC, it's very, as the competition itself is very grown up, and like for me, ERC it seems like a more viable and a very good solution to race with the other teams. So thank you for those answers. I would like to ask if the ERC has some outcomes in the, like when the students are going to companies to work on, did ERC help them to, you told some examples about that, Lukasz, but do you have any more examples? Because I remember there was like Rover building teams that were running for the Google X Prize, and they were there to hire people. They were hiring interns and so on. So I remember they were giving us cards and stuff. So this is a very good culture in ERC. So do you have some examples that people started as a team member, then went to some company to work there?
Well, actually, I can ask Marcin about that. How many during your career in Scenario, how many people you met inside that somewhere in the resume was like European Rover Challenge? Because I know about few.
At least few. Yeah, at least few people which work or worked at Center in Poland. So they had in CV in the European Rover Challenge or University Rover Challenge. Yeah, but in my opinion, in generally, it's a very important experience because by taking part in the team, learning how to do engineering tasks, learning how to work as a member of a team. This is a really a good mixture, which is very interesting for potential companies in which you will work in the future. So it's good that you have the opportunity to learn how to do it before finishing the university. And that's a really, and because of that, you are becoming a really valuable resource for the future for the companies in which you will work.
And this is what I can add. This is also the matter of the university itself, because I remember some, amazing team from Canada. You remember, Simon, they were second in your first ERC, the first ever, actually, the McGill University. But when you find out, there is also McGill Robotics. What's the difference? McGill Robotics is a spin-off from McGill University, and people that were then on this team, they are right now in the spin-off, right? And what I've heard, they are receiving also some kind of orders from Canadian Space Agency. So there are many stories. I wish we have some kind of more people around us to gather these stories, and we will do it, because for sure it's on our wish list to gather all these stories, because there is a lot of things before us, like kind of alumni program or something like that, right? But right now we want to focus more, on also. We are working right now also to think about something regarding the moon, because this is right now the topic on the first page of the list when you are going on the, I don't know, IAC in Dubai, for example, or next year in Paris. So the moon is on the mouth of everyone. So this is the thing we also have to address, right? We started, it's a fresh thing for this, streamings we are doing, because the first streamings actually, we can talk about last year, and this year was, like stable streaming, and we have to work more on that. And we also have to work more on integrating the teams we have already, like you, to share these streams to their universities and their communities. So, for example, when you are going out of the field, you can wave to your whole family or to your whole city or the country, actually, that you are just finished the line. And this is what we want to do, because we started to be very, very important international project. And we talk with organizers of our international competitions about some kind of, the joint venture together, kind of forum, because I received a lot of phone calls after last year, and we want to gather them in one place, because we are driving the same car, right? If it bumps, everyone bumps. So if it's like a hard turn, it's for everyone. So actually we can help each other as the organizers of this kind of, rover or robotics competitions or challenges. So we have a lot of things that is before us, but the most crucial are the teams, the community, and we have to work more on these communities. So we are planning more webinars for you, more, and this was the good discussion we, Konrad, we have about that we need to more have discussions, and I remember we talked just a few days ago with Kinga and Marcin about that, to have more even online talks with these online teams that cannot participate by only joining us online. So we have to put them a little bit more inside the event as well during the year, actually. So as you can see, a lot of ideas, but we have to choose, and first to deal with them, in the proper order, actually.
Yeah, and a little spoiler here. So regarding the remote edition, we're trying not to change too much this year, like in the following edition, but to really focus on the community here, because we're still trying to find out a way how to integrate the teams and how to make each other see each other, right? Because in the on-site version, you'll have the party, you'll have the beer, and you'll have the let's say, different moments where you can actually at least see the faces, right? And we got the feedback from the last, this year edition, that the closing ceremony was the first opportunity to actually see the faces of the teams, right, in the remote edition. And this is something that we are trying to tackle this year, I think. And and then getting back to the original question, I have some examples of different people who participated as the teams, like in the teams. So in our company, most of the company is from the teams, and that's something that I do all the time. When I need somebody in the company, first thing I just ask the teams, the Rover teams, to meet the people from there, right? And these are the teams that I don't really know. There's a couple of years since I was actually involved there. So this is something ongoing here. Then, for example, Michał and Lukasz, who were the heads of the first, back when Scorpio was only in URC, they started a robotics company as well, and we are actually cooperating as two companies. We had Dorota, who is now, right? So I'm not sure where is she now, because she changed the universities, but she worked in IAC with the astronauts, and yeah, was really successful in ESA there. Then we had Konrad, who worked then in Australia in robotics, actually in autonomous robots, and so on and so on. And as Lukasz already said about like Photon as one of the examples of another company that actually like spin-offed from the robotics teams, maybe not from ERC but from URC, but yeah, spin-offed from that. So there are examples that you can actually list there. We don't have the list, I think, but if you think about it, these are the people who are worth to have in your LinkedIn profile at least, right?
That's very nice. And when we talk about the remote part of the competition, you mentioned about last year and the remote part. Even I didn't participate to ERC last year. I had a chance to check the science part, and I really like it because it's more or less what we do in planetary science. And do you want to continue that, or the remote version will end as far as the COVID ends, as long as?
I don't think that COVID will end at any time. So, and the remote competition will be there. So I don't know what happens in the next years, but I'm up to keep it running. And like, because like these are okay. So the biggest part is that during these 2 years we found out that these are like super different competitions, like super different challenges. It's not that this is the same challenge that was like for the last years and was moved to remote. Now you have like different teams participating, not only because they can actually participate because they don't need to have like this expense of the logistics of being here, etc., of building the rovers, but these are the teams who are more into software, more into science then as well, and more into like this softer things as well. So they are like connected, like interconnected. They are gathered not only because of the like this geeky thing of building your robot and then trying to do anything with the robot and yeah, like holding fingers just to make it start, right? But they are like more into software, more into ROS, more into like different areas. And what I can see now is that these teams don't overlap. We have really little teams that do both science and both on-site and both remote. These are like different teams. Many of them are new, and for sure the challenge will try to tackle like to fit them as well, right?
Yeah, I would just like to add a little anecdote here, because we even have the how was it called, the Rover Mechanic Challenge, right? The game. There's like, it's a challenge which is streaming on Twitch, and the winner can then, he can just, move or play with the, Leo Rover remotely. And the winner this year was, I think, one of the members of, I think, a team from Bangladesh, which just, didn't qualify for the main competition. So he, with his experience, just, won the competition at the game.
Well, I can add to what I wrote before in our chat that, we invented some things during the 2020 because of COVID, but we don't call it a COVID formula. So, the science stuff, the remote thing, it stays with us because it's absolutely at some very long missed opportunities in ERC, and it will stay because it defined us, right? And it gave us absolutely more angles to evolve ourselves. So actually, this is something what will stay with us, and it will be evolved actually because we are growing, right? So of course there will be, I'm looking right now at Marcin and Szymon, of course, everything that will grow, don't worry guys, we still will try to fit it in 3 days. But yeah, because this is a challenge for us always, but yeah, we will keep this and we will, make it more, perfect year by year actually. So, but this kind of connection between science and engineering parts This is very needed, actually, and it's repeated both by our engineers and by our scientists working with us on ERC, that there are many situations in space projects, especially, that the science people in the same room are talking differently than the engineering people. And this is why we also want to involve them. And we also need to work on the presentation part, because this is something that we have some ideas how to improve it, and also to give opportunities how to speak about your plans, etc. But I'm not, this is not the place to talk about the new rules. You will hear them, listen to them, and watch them when they will be out of there. And I think, Marcin, it will be like the end of the year, if I remember right. So yeah,
should be. This time we are trying to release it earlier than the last year, especially taking into account that we have less job to do this year, because last year the rules were basically written from scratch.
It must be not easy to organize all those stuff with the tasks and everything. I wonder how many people are working in the organization, also the designing all those tasks.
That's a good question. Less than 10, I would say. So the main, let's say, the main people who are responsible for the rules are me for on-site and Szymon for the remote edition. However, also we have some inputs from other people related to tasks, like science task, inputs from Ania. In case of maintenance task, we have inputs from Wojtek, or also the team from University of Science and Technology in Poznań. But the majority of the work is basically done finally by the two of us.
Let's not
That's
forget.
very impressive.
Yeah, but let's not forget, it's not only a challenge, not only a competition we are talking about. We have people working, on the whole program, on administrative stuff, on promotion stuff, on volunteer stuff. So actually, when you compare all the people working like whole the year, it's almost 20. At least 20, because we are sometimes reaching for some additional people. And when you are bringing it closer to ERC and put this, Dumbledore's army, I mean about volunteers that are coming, then you have 100. And then it's like very good number to organize this kind of, 3 days of a huge event, actually, right? Very complicated, having its own parts, but I can see for the last few years that there are no problems in organization one, at least none that I can hear about, because the team is working. Some of the people are new, but generally there are a lot of people that are working for the last couple of years or even few years with us. So we know the drill, actually, right? And this is the reason that it is so successful, actually. And we always criticize ourselves afterwards. So we made a feedback we are taking from you, from the teams, we are taking from exhibitors, from keynote, from ourselves. Then we are, putting it together, and we are not, no, I don't want to hear about it. No, we are really closely looking into whole, critics, and then we are trying to improve it every year. What needs to be improved, actually. So this is why it's so, well done year by year.
Thanks for mentioning that, Lukasz. Sorry, because what Lukasz mentioned is a very important thing. I was focused only on the rules, but actually when we invent the task, then many other people also are engaged, are collaborating, are doing their job to make to make this competition. So basically we are just starting it on the paper, but then a lot of additional work has to be done.
It's very impressive organization, and I must say that your website is also very informative and very well designed. And I guess Bahadur may have some maybe last question.
Yeah, I want to ask, it's a challenge for us, but it's a challenge for you as well to organize the stuff. So what were the critical moments? And I want to hear about the stories, some funny stories probably behind organizing all this. You might have hard days, you might have good days. Can you tell us a few memories from that?
Okay, I can try from last year. So internally everybody knows the story, and everybody makes laugh at that now. But so we have Błażej, who is, I hope, not listening now, in our company, who is known by the remote teams because he's always open to help with the software, etc. He's the main software engineer, the main software guy in our company. And during the last edition, 2020, we had a little party during the competition, after second day or something like that. And what happened during this party? He dislocated his shoulder, went to the hospital, and that was the end of hearing anything about him then. So I mean, he dislocated that in the night. And then he got into ambulance, got into this hospital, but the guys from the ambulance never told us where he's going, etc. And if he's going back and coming back, and so that was the first stress was that. The second thing was that the following day we still had no idea where is Błażej. He had no phone, nothing with him. And we needed to start the competition, and he was the only person knowing how to turn on the Rover. And so that was really stressful, really big thing there, because otherwise we wouldn't have the competition at all, because there was only remote formula there, right? And after a couple of hours we found him, got him back, fed him actually
through
with
the hospitals.
Yeah, exactly. Oleg from our friend searched through the things. I needed to tell all the teams that we will postpone the first starts. We postponed 3 or 4 starts, and then we found him. He got back, and as I'm saying, we fed him with the real breakfast, not the hospital one. And then actually we got it running, but it this was the hard feedback, hard part to take into consideration in the following edition. So now we have 2 people actually knowing how to turn on the Rover, I mean software-wise. So this year there was no such thing. Yeah, but yeah, we were close, really close.
As a little follow-up, Błażej became a little meme inside the team, and also this year we had I won't share this story, but we had one person who needed to go to the hospital, and we were like, "Hey, Błażej, you're experienced. Please advise us to which hospital we should go," right? So
He's fine now, right?
Yeah, Błażej is fine, and it was not the first time he dislocated his shoulder, so it's it's happening there. But yeah.
But it's supposed to be only funny stories, or also sad stories?
Sad stories are welcome too.
Well, generally I have 2, but one is not sad, but very touchy, because once we had a team that was not qualified, but they came, and they were guys from Nepal. And I was really keen on seeing, Nepal Rover team, because, this is not a country that you are putting on your mind as a space rover, country. And they came, and we talked to each other, and we asked them, why you need to do it. You want to, work in space, go to NASA, SpaceX, all these, fancy stories you always hear. And they say, no, we want to build rovers, inspection rovers, because we want to learn how to do it. We want to introduce it to our country, because you remember the earthquakes in Nepal like a year before. And I was like, yeah, I remember it. It was in CNN everywhere. And two of them spoke simultaneously. Well, I lost my dad. And the second one, I lost my mom in this. And then you are standing in front of them. The media are waiting because you are just, minutes before the interview. And you are trying first to catch the breath. Then you are trying literally not to cry and go to the interview. Right? So we have this kind of stories as well. We also have these stories, very, very back in the time when one of our judges, now he's the member, he's a judge. Before that, he was a member of URC team. Then some universities didn't want to support, their job, because right now the universities, because of popularity of Rover challenge thing. But then it wasn't so popular. I remember my story about, going to for sponsors. And he had saving some money for the engagement ring. So he postponed it and he put this money to invest, in their team, actually. And he had to postpone the engagement ring. So these are the stories. When you hear it, you can see that this is very personal for the teams. And when you collect this kind of stories, it's really, really, really amazing. And the sad story for us is that we had a break. And this is when you will see, I'm talking about 8 editions right now, but when you count it back, like, hey, come on, you started in 2014, what happened? Well, there wasn't a competition in 2017. And from the organization point of view, I have to, bring this behind the scenes to you, because there was, after 2016, we had received some kind of total misunderstanding from one of the co-hosts, and he put a financial fine for us, because we did everything that we were supposed to expect it, but there was some kind of misunderstanding. We were apologized after that, after half a year of sending tons of papers with other lawyers, explanations that the story was that we were moving with this ERC under the dome. And we are, created at the first and the last time the ERC under the dome, not in the open space area. And then we receive plans that we can do it like, as usual, 400 tons of soil, right, to build a mass yacht. But when we started to build it, there was some guy coming. We didn't met them before, and he told them, no, construction plans don't allow to do it, like 250 maximum. Okay, so let's put it 250, right? It will be safe for the construction site. But after that, some guy came, okay, but you promised 400. Well, yeah, but the guy from the dome said it's impossible. I'm sorry, but it was 400 in the papers, right? So you are fine. And then it was like half a year to explain it. But it was too late to start the next competition. So we had to actually make a break, 1 year break, to reestablish the ERC. And it was the year I thought it will end, actually, right? I was almost to resign, actually, because I was so crushed about that. Because, we are now fighting, evolving, everything is going good. And then someone is giving, it was really a huge fine, a financial fine. And we have to, for the 1 year, to gather money to fill this gap, because we covered with some loan, actually, so we have to repay the loan first. And well, then we started, and then it find out that we had to make even bigger and better next time. So this is the stories that are very, when you see this from the behind this team, you are seeing this kind of situations, actually. There is also one thing interesting when I mentioned this first time team coming to first year. Actually, there was also an interesting story about how, Poland is mostly Catholic country, so you have mostly churches here. And what was the end of this team coming then and having no hotel at all? They were from the Muslim countries, one of the Muslim countries. And during the last day, actually, because the next day competition started, we had to find them some place to sleep. We find it in monastery, really a monastery very close to the ERC was going on. And we told the guys, this is the team from the Muslim country, so please respect it. What we've heard from the brothers from the monastery, they get rid of from all of the crosses, all the things. They respected their faith. They were going inside every day, waking them up because they were so sleepy working on this rover every night. And they brought their little bus, you remember the movie Sister Act, and there was like some small bus of monks, going. So it was the same story, almost the same bus, and they brought this team every day. They waited for them, and they were going back and to put them to sleep, actually. And even some of the monks I've heard trying to help them to fix this rover. So it was like, what the heck? Monks building rovers? Okay, so we have these stories. We didn't talk to these monks anymore, but maybe there are potential judges maybe in the future, because they already tried to fix it for them, because this guy was so overslept, so they are so tired. So, and of course there is last but not least the story that one of the teams couldn't handle the batteries to their countries because of some kind of embargo, I don't know. And actually they were sending an emails to us, and we were resending them to all of other teams. So and the teams that were already in Europe were starting to help them to get this battery and to get it on site just before the event so they can integrate it and to start working. And this is when we decided to give Fair Play Award, because this was wonderful, team playing actually and teamwork for all of the teams, right?
Yeah, I would like also to add a little heartwarming story about our community, because in 2019, there was a team from Canada which was flying to Poland like really early. They were here like at Monday, maybe even Sunday, and they had like literally no place, to build their rover, because then in 2019 we could use, the dormitories for teams, but there was no workshops in dormitory, and the team zone would open only on Thursday. So I mailed two Kielce teams, because in Kielce there's like also another team. It's not only Impulse, there's also Fupla team. And Fupla team responded that, yeah, sure, connect them with us and we will just host them. So I gave the email to the Canada team. They talked to each other and they just used one workshop. The Fupla team just gave them their space. And as for what I know, they became like really good friends after that and share the experiences.
Oh, it just recalled me one thing as well, that during this first ERC, like back in the olden days, our team actually helped to solder the first maintenance panel that we were supposed to use in the competition as well. Because I remember that Wojtek came to us, like to our hotel, and asked if you have like a soldering iron, because like something broke. And this was the time when actually a team helped preparing the competition for themselves then, yeah. And it can happen actually. So now we are trying to like as Leo Rover, as the team for remote thing, we are trying to take as much as possible of like different hardware, different things that we have in our workshop, because we know that it can happen in the, like during the competition, we can help actually the teams. And like for sure in the next year, we'll take like half of the our workshop to make sure that we can help somebody. And yeah, but it happens, like teams help themselves, like each other. Teams help the judging team, and the judging team can help the teams as well. Like, yeah, we sat this year, I think, yeah, this year we sat in the preparation zone for onsite as well, to just like sneak, to just see, like take a glimpse of what can be needed here as well.
Yeah, I remember that almost every year we have also the topic of building the judges rover, but hearing what you said, Shimon, it will be impossible. So if we would have even problem with soldering, then it will not work. So we can forget about that.
Yeah, but remember, it was the first edition. Like everything was strange then. It was like everything was new, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. But the idea about the judges rover appears every year.
Cool idea. Like, I want to hear one more funny story, then that's it. But one last story, please. Maybe
Okay,
Konrad or
maybe I
Marcin.
will. Maybe I will say something. Basically, since I started to be judge in European Rover Challenge, usually I was responsible for the presentation task. So that was the task that usually no one wanted to do. In my opinion, it's a very important task because it also provides you can teach you how to present your project and also leads to the discussion with jury. But anyway, there was one situation when everyone wanted to be in a presentation task. It was in Starachowice when it started raining. And at that point, everyone wanted to exchange with us, and we were like, no, we are just sitting under the roof. It's fine with us. We are assessing presentation task. You can go back to the Mars yard.
Cool.
Mhm.
Lucky. So,
yeah, we got very lucky.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
there are
so-
I think more funny stories, but the problem is that I'm not sure if you can share them online. So maybe when we meet in Kielce, then maybe we will say something more to you in private.
Oh yeah, it will be a good idea. I really.
It's about parties, right?
By the way, thank you very much for the whole stream. Like for Konrad, Lukasz, Simon, and Marcin. Thank you very much for attending today to our stream, and we learned a lot from you guys and very surprising facts about the ERC as well. And the stories were great. So thank you very much for staying with us and telling these great stories. So we are getting like a lot of inspiration from you guys. So thank you for inspiring us for our journeys as well. So thank you very much for today.
Wielkie dzięki.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Right.
Thank you very much.
And dobry wieczór.
Hope it's seeing you.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
thanks as
inviting
well.
us.
Great to see your work here with the whole channel. Yeah, thanks, and see you. I think in the next following year, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thanks, and see
Thank you very
at
much.
the registration window.
Goodbye. And we're ending our stream. Next stream will be with a different rover competition. I hope so, but we haven't decided yet with who. So stay tuned for the next broadcast. Goodbye.
Everybody.
Bye.